Assalamualaikum to everyone. So this morning I'll be sharing a segment on biodiversity. Okay, we're going to go through, I'm going to give you a little bit of introduction on what biodiversity is, where you can find biodiversity, why should we care about biodiversity, on some problems and some threats with regards to biodiversity that we can see around us today, and how you can move forward in this project or program that we have for you. Okay, so biodiversity is short for biological diversity, which simply means that, next. Okay, I'll start again, yeah. So what is biodiversity? Biodiversity is short for the term biological diversity, which simply means that all life is different. Biodiversity is the rich variety of life of organisms on Earth, from the smallest organisms to the largest one, including the ecosystems where they live. So it's not just about the animals, but the environment which they live in, the environment that they interact with. For example, where they live in forests, on mountains, rivers, and seas. So in other words, biodiversity is also nature, or our natural world, and all the species across the face of the earth. These make up biodiversity. So what we have now with all the diversity on the planet is that they are crucial to providing us with ecosystem services. So what do you mean by services? So services is what nature supplies, such as flood protection, pollination, soil fertility, climate regulation, and so on. So the list is endless, how much biodiversity provides for us. So therefore, it is very, very essential to human well-being, as well as delivering services that all that human beings need to sustain our economies and our societies. Next. So today, there are more than 1,700,000 species that have been named, and new species are being discovered every day, all the time, even as we speak. Scientists estimate that there are more than 3 million species on the planet, so that is a lot of species. There are many species of animals, species of plants, fungi, microbes, and like I said, they all interact with one another, with the environment, to create what we call an ecosystem. So the number of species present in an ecosystem is very, very important to the way how each ecosystem can function properly and effectively. Next. So you can see those were some examples of the diverse plant species just now. Now you can see some animal species. There's just a myriad, whole range of animals from the largest to the smallest. Next. Another example of diversity of insects. So these are some small animals like insects, like leaf insect itself has so many different species, and beetles. So these are tropical leaf insects and beetles that you can find partly in Malaysia, and there's a whole lot more out there. Next. A good place to see all the a lot of species or biodiversity, or especially wildlife and plants, are in museums. Museums can provide you with different species from the past as well as the present. So it's a good place for you to go see what biodiversity. And not forgetting the little things. For example, like mosses and fungi. So it's not just about big trees, big animals. We are also talking about small trees, small plants, and also organisms like mosses and fungi. These are also very important, especially in our forest ecosystem. Another example would be biodiversity that you can find in forests. This is a tropical forest ecosystem. So in just a small area like what you see on the screen, you can see so many different species. So this is a very, very rich ecosystem. Tropical forest is one of the richest ecosystems in the world. Another one is, if you go to the beach or in coastal areas, you can also see lots of biodiversity in the water as well, on land, on the beaches in the coastal zones. So there are also animals and plants on rocky shores and on cliffs and so on. So there's a lot of things that you can see in the natural area. Another type of diversity is ecosystem diversity. So you have a different types of ecosystems in different parts of the world, different regions, and this consists only of unique species, set of species that you can find inhabiting the ecosystem. And in the tropics, we have coral reefs, we have mangroves, and in Africa, for example, you would have the savanna. In the United States, in China, you would have desert ecosystems. In the northern parts of the world, in the polar regions, you will have the tundra and so on. So there's a lot of different ecosystems, and these, like I said, have their own set of species diversity. Next. So around you, in our own lives, in what is close to you, where can you find this diversity? If you haven't seen much, maybe you should try look around. You can find them almost anywhere. Even in the city, you can see biodiversity, in your vicinity. Maybe you can do an exercise with your friends to go look for species or diversity around you. A good place to see a lot of diversity are in natural areas. For example, like national parks, by the beach, by the coast, in the forest. Go hiking and trekking, you will see lots of diversity. In the forest, especially in the tropics, it's hard to see the diversity. You may not think that there are diversity, there are species, but there's a lot of them. They're all hidden in the forest. For example, like the tapir, elephant, jaguar, and so many more, but they are mostly hidden in the forest, and you have to look really hard for them. Next. In the mountains, you can also find different types of diversity unique to the mountain areas. Not forgetting, of course, in our oceans, you can go snorkeling. You can see, especially in the tropics, you have coral reefs. So this is also another place where you can see high diversity. And of course, in the cities or urban areas, there are also species and diversity in places where you stay or where you live. If you go around searching for them on trees and around bushes and flowers, you're bound to see some. These are some other examples. Maybe in your backyard you have birds nesting. Every day you have the food you eat every day, spices you use for cooking, the fruit you eat, and during especially fruiting season you can see tremendous amount of fruits, different types of fruits, different species or sources of biodiversity are also being used for inspiration for our own use every day, for furniture, for cushion, motifs, and so on, mainly for inspiration. For giving inspiration for design on our buildings. For example, the building on the right that is inspired from the lotus flower. It is a Baha'i temple in India, a place of worship. And logos, for example, like this. We see every day, but these are all inspired by species and diversity that we see around us. So why do we need to care about biodiversity? Does it matter? Why is biodiversity important? This is a good example. I like to use this example on how we can evaluate how important biodiversity is. For example, from just a single tree, you can see how much it can provide for humanity, for people. It can. One of the most important things is that trees provide clean air for us to breathe every single second. That is already very, very important. And then it absorbs carbon dioxide. It reduces global warming. It provides habitat for animals and plants, other plants. It provides shelter. It provides shade. On a very hot day, everyone runs for cover to look for trees. It provides food for other animals, stops erosion, protects the soil, and the list just goes on. It's just endless how much or how valuable a single tree is. So imagine if you have a whole forest of trees, how much of value they are, how important they are to us. And imagine also what happens if we lose all of these trees. Biodiversity also feeds the world. So you can see that all of the crops that we have for our food, this comes from different types of plants. For example, in Malaysia and a lot of the Asian countries, we depend a lot on rice. So that is one very, very important crop which comes from our source of biodiversity. Local dishes, every day you have your lunch, you have your meals, you have your dinner and so on. Have you ever thought about the diversity that you are feeding yourself with? So these are some of the local dishes. You can see how colorful they are. They come from diverse species of plants and also some animals as well, but mainly plants here that you can see on the screen. And the list just goes on how much biodiversity is very, very important for us. And biodiversity is also nowadays, a lot of architects, a lot of designers are looking into nature to get inspiration, to get ideas about how structure and architecture of natural entities could help them design more eco-friendly buildings, eco-friendly designs of engineering materials and so on. So they are looking towards nature and learning from nature. This is one good example where a Japanese engineer got ideas to reduce noise in his design of the bullet train from kingfisher, from the beak of kingfisher, because kingfisher, when they dive down to get their food, they don't make any noise. So that's one very good example of how nature helps us to produce more eco-friendly designs. So really, if you look at nature, in the ecosystem, species network between one another, and they have all kinds of interactions, a very rich interaction between one another, and these are all interconnected. And really, if part of this interconnection or part of this chain is broken, or we remove part of the chain, or we remove some of the species, this interaction will collapse, or these interactions can be cut off. What will happen is that the ecosystem can be damaged and may not be able to be repaired. So that is one important message here, that we have to conserve and protect our species and biodiversity. So everything is interconnected or very much dependent on everything else, including us humans, because we are part of the web. So just now I showed you some of the examples of how a tree can be very, very beneficial for us. So this is what we call as ecosystem services. Okay, so ecosystem services are some of the services that nature can provide for us, like for example, in the following slides. You can see how forest ecosystem is important in terms of providing us with oxygen, protecting soil, like I said earlier. It provides outdoor recreation for us. It provides aesthetic values for us. It also provides timber. 9 out of 10 medicines that we take on a normal basis come from the forest canopy, forest litter. These are all important invertebrates, animals in the forest. Help to decompose waste in the forest and so on. So there's a lot of very important functions. Another example would be from wetlands and mangroves, where you can see, again, wetlands and mangroves are very important in protecting coastal ecosystems from storms and strong waves. They also provide fish and breeding grounds and nurseries for a lot of the food that we eat. Like, for example, udang galang, or what is udang galang in English? Lobsters, freshwater lobsters. It also recycle and filter our water to give us clean water, and so on. So there are a lot of different services that all the different ecosystems and species give us. So these are examples of all the different services that I just wanted to share with you. And these can be categorized into different types: provisioning, regulating, supporting, cultural. So remember, species diversity or biodiversity is also important for us culturally, because we use them in our lives for our in our tradition, in our culture, everyday activities, and so on. So nature, really, if you look at the whole spectrum, provides services for us, and they are very, very important. However, a lot of the activities that we do create a lot of impact on nature. So every time we lose a species, okay, from an ecosystem, we change the way the whole ecosystem works. So the problems that we have around us now, the threat that we have to biodiversity include overpopulation, soil erosion, loss of biodiversity, soil pollution, deforestation, and so on. There's so many more. So maybe you can try to identify how some of these problems can be relevant to you from your environment. So you could, create some videos that will be useful in giving message to other people, for example. So these are some of the threats that we can see for biodiversity. And we want to try to protect and conserve them to avoid losing too many of them, because with so many people on the planet now, scientists have revealed that the natural world, the biodiversity, is now in decline. Some are disappearing, some are going extinct in many parts of the world, including Malaysia. So there is a very universal impact that humans are having on the planet from all of our activities, our actions, our decisions. And the decline is happening faster now in the last 50 years. So this is something that we are very concerned about. So this is just an example of how, when we lose forests, so many more impacts follow suit that can be damaged, not just from animals losing their habitats, but also from us losing trees and losing sources of our oxygen, of our carbon, and so on. Okay? This is just another example of how, I'm so sorry, but the image seems to have shifted a little bit. But from the few images that we have, you can see also this is another important issue right now: waste, the problem of waste and plastic, that we create so much in our environment, and how much they can affect biodiversity. And animals have been known to die from consuming or accidentally consuming plastics, for example, like turtles and so on. Okay, so what we want to achieve here now is, instead of becoming the source of the problem, we humans should become and think about solutions. So this is what we're trying to do with this video program with all of you. So we have to learn to make decisions and take actions that can help protect and conserve nature and biodiversity instead of causing damage to them. So we are all connected. Remember that. Okay, we are all connected. And that each and every creature is part of the biodiversity family. So let's protect our family, conserve biodiversity now. So we all depend on biodiversity to survive. With all the issues and impacts that we have around us, it seems as though we don't think that nature is worth saving. Is that true? How can you play your part? When we ignore nature's values and benefits, nature loses, and so do we. So we need to take time to learn what nature is worth, make our decisions differently so that we can sustain what sustains us, so that nature prospers, and so do we, and not only us, not only our generation, but our great-grandchildren as well. So what can youth and schools do to conserve biodiversity? What can you do? So for this project, try to be very explorative and be very creative to find out and try to assess what is biodiversity to you. Where can you find biodiversity around you? How valuable are they to you? What is biodiversity, or how are they being used every day in our lives? how important are they? And maybe you can also look at threats to biodiversity. What are the threats that you can see around you and how you can help? Or you can also look at how, or have you or your community done any activities or programs that can work towards preserving and protecting biodiversity? Or if you know of any other groups that do this. So with this, I hope to see interesting and amazing videos which I'm sure all of you will be able to produce. And I look forward to November when we receive all of the videos from all of you. Thank you very much and all the best.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nurul Salmi. It was really an insightful presentation from you. As for just for your information, today we have participants from RCE Yogyakarta. Could you please say hi to us?
Apa nampak kita? Hai. Tak nampak apa sebab fokus kat itu ni. Tengok je lah hai kat dia. Tak ada. Hi.
We couldn't hear you.
Hello, tak dengar.
We cannot hear you.
We cannot hear you. Or maybe they didn't say anything.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Yes.
Jakarta.
Apa kabar?
Alhamdulillah baik. Thank you.
We also have participants from SK Convent Greenland, SK Datuk Keramat, and also SK Convent Taipei. And one other school is SK Latip from Penang, Malaysia. And Taipei is from Perak, Malaysia. Do you have any question that related to biodiversity that you want to ask Dr. Nurul Salmi?
Anyone can ask questions.
Excuse me, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you for the occasion. Maybe one question from me. How can the government play a role to give the protection for our biodiversity by that presentation? Maybe that's for me. Thank you for the occasion.
Is that a question? Is that a question?
May I reply? How can the government play a role to protect the biodiversity by the law or
how can the government? Oh, okay. So so we have a question from our friend in Jakarta. He asked, how can the government help to protect biodiversity?
yes,
So if we look at many countries around the world, the government is doing their part, because a lot of government, a lot of countries have their own protection or conservation programs. Okay, but the thing is that's not enough, because there's a lot more destruction happening than what the government can do. So all of us must play our part also to help the government, because it's not enough. By having, for example, like a program like this, you can help spread the message and educate other people, and then so that other people will have that information. How important is it to protect and conserve biodiversity? So actually, it should come from all different parties, different people, not just the government, because the government do not have enough manpower, do not have enough resources. So we have to help the government. So everyone who can help should help the government. So this is what we need to do. Does that help?
yes, thank you.
Okay.
Maybe please kindly explain us how the government of Malaysia try to protect the biodiversity like that.
In Malaysia?
Yes, right. The example from the Malaysian government like that.
Okay, from the Malaysian government, so we have a lot of the government agencies. For example, our wildlife department, our forestry department, our environmental agency. So these are some of the government agencies that are helping to protect the environment. And I am sure in many, many countries, even in Indonesia, you will have the same departments in your country as well doing the same thing. Yeah?
Yes, right.
Okay.
Thank you for your answer. Thanks.
Thank you.